joyously engaged. So now we're going to continue on a segment 2. The reason we are cutting it is because it's difficult to post to YouTube. It takes forever. We've had to do it over and over. We get it like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and then it says we can't do it. So then that's why we just haven't had luck. So we tried it this other way, and I think it makes a little bit more sense too. So Andy, I'm going to, okay. Sherice.
Yes.
Where's the mic? Okay, here.
Is it on?
Yeah, and yeah, when it's up. We know that my daughter-in-law, Ligia, provided that image.
That's right.
Okay.
Oh, the joy of music. How can we preserve and share the sound? The answer is the topic of today's lesson, music notation.
Yes.
Preserving and communicating music. Who invented music notation?
This is a very interesting video, and I would like it to be recorded. I don't know if there's any stipulation on YouTube that you can't record a YouTube video and post it on YouTube. I don't see why you couldn't.
Right.
So for those of you who may not want to, watch it this way, you go to this link on YouTube. And here I need help again.
Music is a universal language, but have you ever wondered how we came to write it down? Unlike spoken words or pictures, music needed a unique system to preserve its essence. Without it, we might not have Beethoven's symphonies or today's chart-topping hits. But who was the mastermind behind this brilliant invention? Let's dive into the fascinating history of music notation and meet the trailblazers who turned sound into symbols. Welcome to the History of Simple Things, where we delve into the fascinating history behind the little things that shape our world. Long before anyone thought of writing music, humans were already creating it. Ancient civilizations, from Mesopotamia to Egypt, played instruments and sang melodies. However, music in these times was an oral tradition. People memorized tunes and passed them down through generations. Imagine trying to remember an entire song without Spotify or sheet music. It's a recipe for some serious creative liberties. As cultures grew more complex, so did their music. Religious ceremonies, royal events, and theatrical performances demanded consistency. You couldn't have a choir singing 3 different versions of the same hymn. This growing need for uniformity set the stage for the invention of music notation. The earliest attempts at recording music date back over 4,000 years. In ancient Mesopotamia, scribes etched symbols onto clay tablets. These symbols, part of the Hurrian hymns, gave rough instructions on how to play specific notes on a lyre. While it wasn't sheet music as we know it, it was a start. Fast forward to ancient Greece, where philosophers like Pythagoras and Aristophanes studied the mathematical properties of sound. The Greeks devised their own form of notation using letters and symbols to represent pitches. It was still rudimentary and lacked rhythm, but it reflected the first steps toward a more structured musical language. If anyone deserves credit for modern music notation, it's Guido of Arezzo, an 11th century Benedictine monk. Guido wasn't just a man of faith, he was a man of innovation. Frustrated with the inefficiency of oral teaching, he sought a better way to teach chants to monks. His breakthrough was the creation of the 4-line staff. Unlike previous systems, Guido's staff provided a visual reference for pitch. By placing notes on specific lines or spaces, singers could see exactly how high or low a note should be sung. He also introduced a system of syllables, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, to help singers learn melodies more easily. Sound familiar? That's the precursor to today's solfège, or do, re, mi. Guido's innovations were revolutionary. They not only streamlined the learning process, but also ensured that music could be preserved accurately. His methods spread like wildfire across medieval Europe, cementing his legacy as the father of modern music notation. Guido's system was groundbreaking, but it wasn't perfect. Over the next few centuries, music notation underwent several transformations. By the 13th century, composers began adding symbols to indicate rhythm and note duration. This development allowed for more complex compositions, paving the way for the intricate polyphony of the Renaissance. In the 16th century, the five-line staff we know today became standard. Composers like Palestrina and Monteverdi used it to create masterpieces that could be performed across Europe. The printing press further accelerated the spread of sheet music, making music notation more accessible to the masses. It's easy to take music notation for granted, but it's one of the most significant inventions in human history. Without it, the works of Bach, Mozart, and countless others might have been lost to time. Music notation acts as a bridge, connecting composers and performers across centuries.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to add a vocal march surgery.
Before notation, you had to be physically present to hear a melody. With notation, music could travel far and wide, crossing borders and cultures. It transformed music from an ephemeral art into a lasting legacy. While traditional notation has stood the test of time, the digital age has brought new tools to the table. Software like Finale and Sibelius allows composers to create and share music with unprecedented ease. Even guitar tabs and chord charts, though simpler, owe their existence to the principles laid out by Guido and his successors. Interestingly, some contemporary composers are pushing the boundaries of notation. Graphic scores, for instance, use abstract visuals instead of traditional notes to guide performers. It's a reminder that music, like any art form, is always evolving. So, did Guido of Arezzo single-handedly invent music notation? Not exactly. He stood on the shoulders of those who came before him, building on ideas from ancient civilizations and early medieval scribes. But Guido's contributions were transformative, laying the foundation for the system we use today. His work reminds us that innovation often comes from solving practical problems. Guido didn't set out to change the world. He just wanted to teach monks how to sing in tune. Yet, his invention revolutionized the way we experience music, leaving an indelible mark on history. While the story of Guido and the staff system dominates discussions of music notation, it's important to remember that other cultures developed their own ways of preserving music. In India, for instance, the ancient system of sargam, similar to solfege, has been used for centuries to notate ragas. Similarly, in China, jianpu, a numerical system, is widely used for traditional and contemporary music. These systems highlight the diversity of human approaches to capturing sound. They might not rely on staves and notes, but they serve the same purpose, to preserve and communicate music. This global variety shows that while music itself is universal, the way we write it down reflects the unique perspectives of different cultures. Music notation is more than just a tool. It's a testament to humanity's creativity and ingenuity. It allows us to capture the intangible, turning fleeting sounds into something permanent and shareable. Whether you're reading a Bach fugue or strumming chords from a pop song, you're part of a tradition that stretches back millennia. And to think, it all started with a monk, a 4-line staff, and a dream of making music easier to learn. So the next time you see a sheet of music, take a moment to appreciate the journey it represents. Because behind every note lies a story of curiosity, innovation, and the enduring power of music. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.
Do not shut it on. Okay. Can I get some help again to get it back to normal? Guess what? We have 85 slides today, plus activities. So, but every minute is fun, isn't it? And I learned a lot from that video. And I really appreciate, will you get the lights to you? And the mic, where is the mic? I really appreciate, I'll get it, that's fine. I really appreciate that we are on the receiving end of all that has gone on before. It's just awesome. I like to get myself in a place where I can, awe is a verb to me. I want to awe. It's kind of a form of an outgrowth of reverence. And it's amazing what you can feel, think, and experience when you're in an awe mood. To think of all that we have. Is there anything holding us back? I am grateful for all the people who went before us for generations and thousands of years. It's really awesome. So I think this will be the end of segment 2. Thank you, Andy.